Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Grants Pass Gospel Rescue Mission Podcast. I'm your host, Monica Conley. This is Jennifer McPherson, back again. And this time, we're talking about you're graduating the program and completing it really well. So, you were here, you came here when did you come here?
It was May 16th of 2022.
Yeah, very, very early on in the year then. So just over 2 years. You've been here for just over 2 years.
I know, a lot's happened.
A lot has happened. You got a job, and you've held the job.
Yeah.
And you got connected to a church.
I did.
And you got a car. And you saved up a bunch of money.
I did. Yeah.
Got a place. So, have you moved out?
I have moved out. I'm into the new place now. I still have a few things left to do, but I got so excited I couldn't wait to move in. So I just stayed there. It's a good feeling. Yeah.
How many days have you been there?
I have been there 4 now.
4 days. 4 days. Okay. So we already talked about your history, but there are probably some people that might see this podcast that don't know your history. They haven't seen that video.
Okay.
So if you could share a little bit about kind of what brought you to the mission.
Okay.
Just to give some context for people who are just listening in.
Well, 2 years ago, before I got here, I was living in a pretty toxic situation and with family, actually, and using drugs, and locked in a house 2 years. And I was just existing. I wasn't living, and I really had a death wish at that time because I didn't know I didn't see a future.
Yeah.
Prior to coming here too, I made a phone call to the mission and found out that you were the coordinator. We had lived here prior to that together. And so when I found out that you were here as the coordinator, it just boosted my the wherewithal to put into play to leave my situation.
I could hear it when you called, when I got on the phone. You were like, it's you.
It was such a relief to know it was you. I think because you knew me before, and I knew that you knew about me.
Yeah.
And so that made it a lot easier to walking in rather than facing a stranger that didn't know about me.
Yeah.
And where I was coming from and walking into these doors. So when I knew it was you, I knew it was a sign. I knew it was a clear sign. I'd been praying about it, and so that after we talked, I packed up, and my brother and my son rescued me that next morning and brought me over here. So to a safe place, so safe. I was so glad to be here. I was really thankful.
I know you were. Right from the minute that you came in, I say we like I did any of the hard work in any of this. You did it all. Yeah. But we tackled some really hard stuff straight out the gate.
Yes, we did.
Straight out the gate. And I knew that something was different in you from when we lived here together in those moments. You had a determination that I hadn't seen you have before. And you had a willingness. You had a very deep willingness to look at yourself, to take feedback, to implement suggestions. That was refreshing. It still is refreshing because you're still very much the same way.
I think that all comes in with the fact that my way of doing things was not working. It had never worked. And so I knew that you had what I wanted, which was a successful life, a home, a vehicle, a job. I mean, these are just basic things that people need to survive out there.
Yeah.
And I knew that my attempts at things didn't work. And so I knew that if I followed your suggestions, in fact, you even said if you do the things that I suggest, I will get you to this place. And I was just willing to do whatever you told me to do.
Yeah.
And it was scary. I mean, I can't say that it wasn't, because I had a little knowledge of how things ran, but my mindset was different.
Yeah.
My mindset was different. So I knew that everything, I hung on your every word. I hung on every word. So
you told me once, I remember you were very early on in the program this go around, and you said, I think we were in a 30-day, and you said, I appreciate watching you when you're angry and how you deal with that, because it's showing me how to deal with it when it comes up in me. Mm-hmm. And I've never forgotten you saying that.
Yeah.
I've never forgotten you saying that. And you know, everybody goes through seasons. So you've seen me through a lot of different seasons, as I've seen you through a lot of different seasons, you know. But I've never forgotten that. And it was a good reminder for me too, that it's not just what I say. Yeah. It's people are watching me. But here's the really cool thing, right? As a senior resident and as a graduate of the Gospel Rescue Mission, people are watching you too. People are watching you too. So
I see that,
you know, and people, there are women in the house that maybe you didn't live here with, but they all know who you are. And we talked about you this morning, as a matter of fact. I said, Jennifer's coming. We're doing her podcast today. And they were like, who's Jennifer? And so I was able to kind of talk a little bit about you and then talk about Faith House and talk about what it means to get into Faith House, because you got to transition from here to Faith House. So you worked hard to meet that criteria too. Yes. So it was really kind of a neat situation where you didn't even know until I'm telling you right now that your story, that your life, people are watching it, and it's inspiring people to have something to look forward to, something to work towards. So that's pretty darn cool, I think.
That is really cool, actually. Yeah. I think it's been brought to my attention in the past that I was always used as an example of what not to do with your life. So for me to have, to be able to be an example of what can work, you know, what a blessing that is. I mean, that's like a complete turnaround.
Yeah, I'm gonna cry right now.
And, you know, and it's still hard for me to wrap my mind around it all. The blessings. I mean, we come in the doors, all of us, all broken in some way, hurting and in pain and nervous and scared and anxious and wondering if it's even going to work.
Yeah.
Is this even really going to happen?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that for me, it was, I don't think I felt like I had another option. In other words, I knew that this was life and death for me. I was either going to make this work, or it wasn't going to work, and I was going to end up not here anymore.
Yeah.
This was my last shot at it. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
That's absolutely how I felt. God has been so good to me. I give him all the credit for everything, because I wouldn't be here. You know, he was just waiting for me. You know, you see those posts all the time about, you know, why God left me. And, you know, I've learned that God never left me. I kind of turned my back on him, and he was just waiting for me to move. Yeah. And once I was ready to do that, just doors opened, you know. So I've been really blessed to have my relationships with my children restored, being here.
Yeah, I remember that was a big deal.
2 years I went without talking to one of my sons. And I think I'd only been here a couple of months when I got the courage to call him, and he talked to me. And from that moment, we have built a relationship, and he's helped me with some things, you know, along the way that ordinarily he wouldn't have. But I feel like I wasn't doing it for him, though. That's a thing. And I've told them that I didn't get this. I'm not doing this for you. You get the benefits of it working for me, what I'm doing, but ultimately I'm doing this for me.
Right.
You know, and because if you're trying to do it for someone else, that's just, I think, the wrong mindset. I mean, you always want to do better for your family. You do. But if you're not doing it for you, then if your family will let you down in some way, things will happen.
Yeah.
So I think it's all in the perspective of your family benefits from you getting well.
Right.
So there's been a lot of work done, therapies. You got me into trauma therapy, and you got me in touch with options and bus tokens to get there. And I was just willing to do whatever it took to get healthier. And as time progressed, some people get discouraged. I think that I had the mindset of it's going to happen when God says it's going to happen. It doesn't happen before. It just happens when it's time. And then he moves. And I've noticed when God moves for me anyways, like everything just happens. It's not effortless. It's effortless, in those moments. So this has been quite the journey, and I'm excited to see where it goes now. I'm on my own, So
now that we have a whole picture, right?
Yeah.
We have a start to finish picture now. What would you say was the hardest part about being here at the mission?
Sorry, I'm gonna. There were, I think, interpersonal relationships were hard for me. Realizing not everything was about me. Yeah. Not taking everything personally.
Right.
And I did. And I think that was just a mindset I was in at the time because of where I'd come from.
Yeah.
Always apologizing, always thinking there was something wrong. So I think that was my biggest struggle, was the interpersonal relationships, and knowing that I could have relationships that didn't have to end up so
dysfunctional.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I had the mindset I was here for myself, but I have to remember there's other people here too.
Yeah.
And when you're healing from traumas and pains and all the things that go along with it, I got divorced while I was here, so all these emotions bled out on people. And with your help, I was able, and therapies and stuff, I was able to learn that there's ways of managing your feelings without hurting other people.
Yeah.
And that for me was a growth. I think you called that a paradigm shift. Mm-hmm. Things changed for me when I learned that it wasn't personal.
Yeah.
And then when I got my job, I took those tools and how I related and interacted with the people that came through my line, as a cashier. Yeah. Different personalities, different types, but living here and with the people here, you learned it's not personal. You're just trying to give them the best quality service. So there's a lot of growth for me there too.
Being able to see that, while I may be going through something here and I feel like my insides are a mess, mm-hmm. that whatever they're projecting on me is not about me. It's mm-hmm. whatever it is that they're going through. And right. so I can loan them my calm. Mm-hmm. I can accept how I'm feeling.
Right.
But I can also give them space to feel how they are and not have to accept that this is about me.
Right. Learning how to say, I'm not owning that.
Yep.
That's not mine.
Don't you pick that up.
Don't pick it up.
How many times did I say that to you? Don't you dare pick that up. Don't you dare.
Right. That's right. So, I'm not one to sugarcoat about anything. And I'm here to honestly say that there are many other success stories here. It's not just mine. Right. There's many. And they all have the same tone of giving it time. It doesn't happen overnight. It is definitely, you didn't get here all in one day.
Right.
It's going to take time to navigate all the things you're supposed to be doing to get to where myself and others are that have graduated the program. So if I could pass that on to anyone for hope is not to get discouraged. In fact, the gentleman that came and dropped off my furniture today, and I said I would do this, Andrew and Matt, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just briefly told them the same thing. I said, don't get discouraged. Just stay.
Yeah.
Do it, the suggestions, and you'll be here too.
Yeah.
You'll be here too. So I fully endorse this place wherever I go. wherever I go. I got into it when I went to a salon, actually. One of the ladies asked me what I was doing my nails for, and I was like, well, let me tell you. Oh, I've heard things about the mission. And I was like, well, what have you heard? And I was all ready for this one. So she's like, well, I heard you can't do this and you can't do that. And I was like, oh, no. It's not, it's what is your willingness?
Right.
What are you willing to change about you to
have the life you want.
Have the life you want to have.
Yeah.
So it's always nice and a pleasant experience for me to advocate for a place that's changed my life.
Yeah.
And now I get to live on my own and take those tools into where I'm at. I know how to budget. I know how to make sure things are taken care of, and
you can cook do you have a gas stove?
I have an electric stove.
You have an electric stove.
I'm so happy. I cooked my first breakfast there the other morning, and it was so good.
Nice.
It was really nice. So I'm so happy. I'm grateful. I am. And it's like I was telling you, we hear a lot of stories about what God is here.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like people need to know the other end of that.
Yeah.
The happy stuff.
Yeah.
The good moments where you're dancing in your living room by yourself because, oh, this is happening. Woo! Yeah. Kind of a feeling. And so, and in those moments, everything that you've had to go through is so worthwhile.
So what is your favorite fun memory in the 2 years that you were here? Because we did a lot of fun things.
I'm going to say we had the Christmas parties that we had. Those were fun. Playing bunco. I'd never played that before. It was fun. The mission can be really lighthearted too. We have beautiful women that come in here, our chaplains.
Yeah.
And they bring goodies. And they're just wonderful.
Yeah.
And they reach out, and those are good memories. And you know what really is the growth you have with the women you're here with. You come in as strangers, and you build the sisterhood with women that, you get, they're like your sisters.
Yeah.
And so, and then my happiness, I was happy for people that were doing well. I wasn't upset or when is it my turn? It was like, right on.
Yeah.
That is so exciting. It gave me hope. It's like, okay, well, that happened for them. Well, I can do this too.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So it's those moments where you're bonding. The chaplains, the parties that we've had, the crying together we've had, loss together we've had, and comforting each other. There's a lot. I can't just think of one thing.
Yeah.
There's just a lot. You pushing me to beyond things I didn't know I could do, and
right, because you have been in every single work site.
I have.
Here. You've been at Second Chance. You've been at Booth. You've been in the kitchen.
I have.
You've been in RA.
Yep.
You were in laundry. And you were in housekeeping. That's all of them.
I know. I'm not.
I think you even did some garden stuff.
I didn't do garden stuff.
Okay.
I didn't make it out to that. Annie and Tara were pretty excited about that. Yeah. But no, I did a little bit of everything, and I was pretty much putting my heels in with the kitchen. But you know what? I also learned gratitude. Serving others is a big deal.
Yeah.
When you get to a place when you stop looking at yourself and going, there's other people out here, and when you serve other people, it actually brings you some fulfillment.
Yeah.
And it's hard sometimes. But life out there is hard. It just is. So when you do it with a grateful attitude, a grateful heart, and reach out and help other people, I think that strengthens your character.
Yeah.
And so I was, at the end of it, happy to do it. I really was. I was happy to do it. It was a lot. Just considering the fact that in my past, I was kind of a Cinderella, so to speak. And so for me, getting in the kitchen and cooking was really hard. I didn't get the enjoyment out of it that I used to. And that by you saying, no, well, we really need you to do this. And I went in there and did it anyways because you asked me to. And I was going to do whatever you asked me to. I found that I didn't dislike it.
Yeah.
And everybody was so happy when I did, so that even made it better.
Yeah. So you got to rewrite you got to rewrite a little bit of that script that you had in your head, right?
Yes.
That I'm not cooking this meal for people who are going to be ungrateful for it. But then it turned around that you cooked this meal and people were actually really grateful and really enjoyed what you produced.
And I thought that they weren't telling me the truth. The first time I cooked, I was like, you just want me to cook again.
I think you actually had asked me, can I just cook it and then go to my room afterwards?
I think you're right.
Because you didn't want to see.
I didn't want to. But I even remember what I cooked, and it was a success, and I'm glad I did it. So everything that I've learned, like I've taken it with me. And I have to say, in my journey with my work, I bring that into play because I'm proud to say that I work for Grocery Outlet, and my boss has been amazing, and she has rode the wave of my growth too. And I mean that in the aspect of getting the ethic. She would say, getting some grit and just doing what you need to do. And she's worked with me. So I feel very fortunate to have a boss that has been able to look past some of the things that I needed help with and taught me, so I appreciate Jessie. She's watching.
She has been very, very gracious with you and very willing to.
She's been supportive.
She's been very supportive. She has been in all of the growing and
even in the tough stuff.
you know.
She and I've had hard conversations, but they've been for my better and my growth.
And when you've come to me with different struggles that you've been having at work, right? And you would come to me from the perspective of, okay, so this is what happened and what do I need to do? How do I need to fix this? What would you do? And I cannot say it enough how impressed I am with your willingness and your stick-to-itiveness with doing things that were outside of your comfort zone. Like really far, like there were times where you would sit there and I would say something to you and you'd totally be deer in the headlights. And I was like, no, you got to do it though. You have to do it. And you would do it. And then you would come back and you would tell me it was awesome.
It wasn't so bad.
It wasn't so bad.
I think we all project what we see in our minds to be one way. It's only going to be this way. And unfortunately, I think we all live in the negative, the worst case scenario. And then when that doesn't happen, we're like, oh wow, okay, so that wasn't so bad. I'm very happy to say that I'm happy to face my obstacles. And whatever that looks like, so that I can grow from it. Because I've been stunted in so many ways. Like a lot of the things that people are doing now, my boss or you or whatever, have been working for a period of time. I'm just learning my ethic and it's unfortunate that it's taken me this long to get here, but I'm getting here now. And I'm grateful for the growth rather than being obstinate or blaming somebody else. It's like, okay, I can own that. And now what am I going to do different?
Without sitting on a pity pot.
Right. It's like, I want to be the best version of myself. And that the best version of myself is not blaming other people. It's being accountable to myself. It's like, what was my part? And how can I do this different? And it's not about me. It's about the people. And I'm, you know what? My platform for this place, for God, is where I believe it or not where I work. I meet a lot of people and they ask questions and they want to know and they pray for me there. They've had a couple people stop and pray for me at the register. It's been such a good experience and I can felt the difference in me. I have felt the shift in me. I'm not angry anymore. Like I can honestly say that I'm not angry and I never thought I'd get to see that or say that. I don't live in such a toxic place anymore that there's no need to be angry. And we hang on to our anger. Boy, we like to hang on to it because it's our comfort and it's our safety. And I have to find reasons to be like hanging on to stuff. There's no need to. And so I feel like the growth has come from being free from anger and pain. Like it's gone. And now I just get to live every day present in the moments that I'm struggling with, whatever that looks like. It's just the little things, but I know I can overcome it because, man, I've gotten past all this other stuff.
So you just said something really interesting to me. When you first got here, you had so much pain.
Yeah.
Physical pain.
Oh, yeah.
You had some pretty extreme limitations.
Yes.
And you just said, I got free from my anger and my pain.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in less pain?
Yes, physical and mental.
Okay.
Yes, I've had, the mission was gracious to let me I had surgery, and part of the requirements of being here is that you have to be able to perform and do the things that you're supposed to be doing as part of building your ethic.
Yeah.
And I wasn't able to do that for a little period of time after my surgery, but you guys knew that, and you knew that part of my having a future was getting rid of some of the obstacles.
Yeah.
And so I did have surgery, and I recovered from that, and I was back to work. And so, yeah, I'm out of pain there. As far as my mental pain, I'm talking about the absence of people in my life, grieving the loss of people, even if it was toxic.
Yeah.
Grieving the loss of my marriage ending and the divorce that I did.
Yeah.
I'm free from those things.
Okay.
I don't live there anymore.
Yeah.
And I held on to it for a long time.
Do you think that impacted your physical pain?
I do. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that it goes hand in hand sometimes.
Yeah.
When your heart's hurting and broken and you're always living in survival mode, your body's going to react to that in some way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And of course, the things that I was doing with the drugs and whatnot played a big factor. Did not help at all.
Yeah.
And that's the only way I knew how to exist at that time. It's the only way I knew how to get through every single day was just to check out.
Yeah.
And I don't have to live that way anymore. I'm so happy. I don't have to recover. I don't have to just come to. I get to go to bed after a long day of work, and I get to wake up in the morning. And now I'm in a place where I can just be myself. So I'm excited for my future.
So you are also an artist.
I am.
And so so I know that when you first got here, you painted a lot. Mm-hmm. And you went through a lot of seasons where, you just kind of had painter's block.
I did. Yeah. When I first started painting, I've always been a creative person, even my addictions. And so when I started painting, I was in my addiction. And so when I got clean and sober, I didn't know if I could paint anymore because it's a different mind set, if you will. And so you're more precise because you're more in tune. It's hard to explain. But when I got clean and sober, it's like, okay, can I even do this now? And so the only way to find out was just to try. Mm-hmm. And I found that my paintings became lighter. And I did have it. It's still in there. It's in there. You just have to channel it in a different way. Yeah. So I started enjoying what I was doing. Given the regimen here and being precise times and being, for chapels and meals and the workout here, I started to find it difficult to have that or when to do it. By the time I get to my painting, I'd be just staring at the canvas going, I know you're in there somewhere. But you guys were so gracious to allow me to have an area in the craft room over here that I just kind of made it my own, and I was able to go in there, put my hat on backwards, and just stare at the canvas until I could see something. And then I created 2 beautiful pieces that ended up going into the Gallery 1 here in Grants Pass. And Hyla was wonderful. Always excited to see my new pieces. I have another one that I'm working on, so I'm not going to let that not be a part of my journey. I even have an area in my new little place ready to go.
That's what I was hoping to hear. I was hoping to hear that. Good. I'm so glad. I'm glad. I really hope that you continue that forever. You're a very, very talented artist.
Thank you.
I'm very honored to have, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I have a couple of other ones that
downstairs,
10 or 11 of your pieces. And I'm honored that I have those. So don't ever stop doing that.
I'm excited. Because I'll have more time.
Yeah.
I'll have more time and being happy. I was thinking about more paintings that I wanted to do. And it's been a minute because of in between
Yeah.
The mission, and then the Faith House, and then now here. It kind of got lost on me for a second, but I've always known I'm going to go back to it.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go back to it, so I'm excited.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, tell me about how being at Faith House prepared you for your own place.
So I was ready to learn and to know what it felt like to live by myself, independently, so to speak.
Yeah.
Paying a rent for your room. We went from paying for, being able to be here, our fees, whatever, to now I'm paying rent for a room. It made me, it just kind of elevated the experience.
Okay.
Because now I was more if you want to say, control of my own movements,
okay.
In the sense that there wasn't being at this time. We were locking
more
up
freedom,
more freedom. Thank you, of schedule. Yeah. So it prepared me, because I think if I had just gone from here to a house, it might have been a little different.
Yeah.
Because I'd been here for so long. So it was a good experience for me to get the feel of the responsibility under the umbrella of the mission safety.
Yeah.
Before I went out on my own.
Yeah.
So the Faith House is beautiful. And I was fortunate enough to go by myself. I had it by myself for a little while, and it was a little, I was a little hesitant at the beginning because I hadn't been by myself.
Yeah.
But I was only there for a little while before I was like, wow, this is great. I can go visit my kids. I can do this. I can do that. It was so nice, and know at the end of the day that I have my home to come home to.
Yeah.
So I think that I think everybody that's here should go from here to their own place. Personally, that's just my opinion, but I think it can be a lot if you're not prepared for what that feels like.
Yeah.
And it's always nice to know there's, like I said, the umbrella of the mission still there.
Yeah.
And you could just pick up the phone and call you if there's a problem or a question. You're going to go, oh, this is what you need to do, or how you should handle this, or come in and see me. And now I'm taking those tools over here by myself. So the Faith House is just wonderful.
Yeah,
it is.
And the thing that I hope that you leave, and I hope that everybody that's left well, I'm almost positive I've told everyone, I'm not just here to support you while you're here at the mission. I'm interested in supporting you for your life. So if there ever comes a time where you have a question about something, you are always welcome. And this goes to anybody who's graduated the program at all. You are always welcome to come and ask a question. The Bible says that there is wisdom in a multitude of counselors. Mm-hmm. And I would be honored if you ever needed that help, or if anyone else ever did. So
I don't think I'm going to stray too far.
I don't think that you will either.
I think that this is I'm still going to be connected in some way.
Good.
And if I can come in periodically and help in any way, or uplift in any way, or give some encouragement in any way, I absolutely want to be on board with that. I think it's essential for people that are just starting off to know that they can get here too.
Yeah.
They can.
Yeah, they can.
Absolutely.
They absolutely can. So if you were coming out of grocery outlet and there was somebody there that was homeless, mm-hmm. that recognized you from your podcast and you wanted to encourage them to come here.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
What I have said to them is, there's a place just down the street that helped me. They can help you too. Have you called? Have you checked it out? I do advocate for this place. I do let people that say I guess you want to call it what they've heard, their myths. A lot of it is just hearsay.
Yeah.
And I'm here to say that if all you have to do to have is to be able to make this work for you is give up some things, they're also willing to help you with those things. I mean, there's really nothing you guys have not been willing to do for somebody to help them overcome the obstacles so they can continue to stay.
Yeah.
It's a choice. It is a choice. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want a different life. And maybe some people don't know what that looked like. They can't see in front of their face because all they've been dealing with is trauma for so long.
Yeah.
But like I said, and I would tell myself, I can't expect things to happen overnight.
Yeah.
Like, I came in with my traumas. I had to deal with my traumas and get past them. What I would tell people is what I've been telling people is that this place works. It's not about what they don't let you do. It's about what they do for you. You know, yes, they have chapel. I said it's a faith-based run program. And I don't think there's a lot of places out there that aren't faith-based run. You know what I'm saying? So and they're not forcing you anything on you. They're just saying that part of the requirements is that you attend.
Yeah.
You know, you either engage or you're not going to.
Yeah.
I chose to engage because I knew that there had to be a higher power. I couldn't put all my faith in just people. You know, I had, at the end of the day, people have come and gone in my life.
Right.
And so God became center
Right.
of all of this. And he still is.
Yeah.
He is center in all of this. And I would say, God, I cannot do this without you. I can't do this journey without you. But that is my part. I mean, that's what worked for me.
Yeah.
I think if people would give it a chance, instead of saying they're going to force Christianity down my throat, I mean, it doesn't hurt. Nobody forces anything down anyone's throat. It's just a requirement. It's a requirement for you to bathe. It's a requirement for you to help out around here. It's a requirement for you to go to the stores and work. It's just another one of the requirements, because this place is based on the people that work here, their faith in the Lord. If people didn't have God as that run this place in their lives, they probably wouldn't be running this place so well. See what I'm saying? It's that you can choose to be a Christian or not.
Yeah. And you don't have to be one to be here.
Nope, you don't. But I think that it's all in what you're willing to give up. Mm-hmm. I mean, alcohol and drugs took me to a really dark place. And my way of saying I can do this didn't work. And walking into a place with people that said, well, we can help you figure out how to live life. I mean, it's not giving up control. It's just learning a new way of living.
Right.
So I'm super grateful to be here and all the people that have been here. It's been a blessing. It's been a long journey, but it's been a blessing.
It has been a long journey. It has been.
Yeah.
Before we end, I just want to let you know, I am so proud of you. I am so stupidly proud of you.
I love you.
I am so blessed to have been witness to your maturing, to stepping into the woman that you told me that you wanted to be. Everything that you've said that you wanted to be, I see sitting in front of me right now.
Yeah.
So you have, sorry
You're
about
make
the
me
loud
cry.
noise. Everything that you wanted to improve on in yourself, every time you came to me and said, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to react this way. I don't want to be like this anymore. You have walked right past it. Yeah. You've set it down and walked right past it, and you have put in its place grace. I do think that you're an ethical person. Yeah. I do think that you have a good work ethic. You have integrity. You are honest. That's not to say that you don't have your challenges, right? Yeah. I still have my own challenges, right? And I will continue to have those, and you'll continue to have yours. Yeah. But I hope that I can take a page from your book in how you lean on the Lord. Mm-hmm. I have watched you face struggle after struggle after struggle, and I have watched you turn to the same place. Yeah. And that's the Lord every time. every single time.
God is good.
God is good all the time.
All the time. And all the time,
God is good.
That's right.
So I want you to know what a blessing that you've been.
You.
As much as you have been blessed by the mission, you have blessed me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I love you very much, my friend.
Too.
Very, very much.
This has been fun, and I love you too.
Thanks. Is there anything else that you would want to say? Is there anything else that you want to share that we didn't touch on, that you were like, I would really like people to know this?
No, I think I covered everything.
Covered it all.
I think I got it all covered.
I think so.
But if I forget anything, you know where I work.
Yep, you can go find her at Grocery Outlet.
That's right.
So thank you for being willing to do this with me. And I think that about does it for another Gospel Rescue Mission podcast. If you like what you saw, please head over to our website, grantspassmission.org, and you can see more testimonials and other videos about the mission and what we do here and how we do it and why we do it. Follow us on Facebook and on YouTube as well.
YouTube, that's right.
Yeah. So thank you for tuning in, and we're signing off. Bye.
Bye.